She said, "Look, what you like is subjective, but the support of Black creatives is not." This sounds like a noble plea, but in reality, oh God, it's such a tired tactic. Jesus Christ. Southern Fried Rice is a new comedy drama produced by KeKe Palmer through her digital network, Key TV, and co-produced by writer and HBCU alum Nakia Stevens. Marketed as a cultural fusion series, the show follows Coco, a Gen Z Asian American woman raised by Southern Black parents, who enrolls at a fictional HBCU called Wright University. It was pitched as a story about identity, belonging, and cultural intersections. But from the moment its trailer dropped, it was evident the show is anything but. Instead, it trivializes both Blackness and the HBCU experience while also finding time to mock the reality of Black family adoption. Despite Key TV's goal to amplify authentic Black storytelling, Southern Fried Rice reenacts the oldest trick in Hollywood, turning Black culture into a stage set for someone else's awakening, confusing proximity to Blackness with participation in it. Black culture is the only culture I know, says Coco, as if it's that easy. If you're immersed enough, you too can mimic Blackness, and it's okay. The joke lands like a brick because it's not new, it's not brave, and it's not representative. It's a minstrel remix in streaming format. The Instagram commenter who noted Coco rocking bamboo earrings and a black scent voiced what many feel. The imagery of an Asian girl essentially cosplaying a Black girl represented as entertainment is actually just cultural appropriation. Black and Asian relations in America have always been complicated, and the tension runs deeper than people like to admit. One of the clearest examples is the 1991 killing of Latasha Harlins, a 15-year-old Black girl shot in the back of the head by a Korean store owner who accused her of trying to rob the store at gun. Oh, wait, no, sorry. Who accused her of stealing a bottle of orange juice. The whole thing was caught on video. But the killer got no jail time, just probation and a $500 fine. That moment shattered any illusion of solidarity. It showed how anti-Blackness isn't limited to white people. It exists in other communities too, often wrapped in fear, superiority, or silence. That kind of violence and the lack of justice that followed left scars that still shape how Black people see coalition today. Because while Black folks have always shown up for other groups, history keeps reminding us that the support rarely, if ever, goes both ways. Beneath the pastel aesthetics and representation branding, Southern Fried Rice pushes the same tired trope that Black people exist to love, forgive, and nurture everyone but ourselves. It's the subconscious story Hollywood drools over, that Black grace is infinite, that our role in society is to absorb harm and return it with hospitality. In this version, Black parents raise a non Black child, pour culture, language, and soul into her, and then step aside while she becomes the protagonist of the very world they built. It's sentimental colonization, a feel good fairy tale fantasy that repackages exploitation as empathy. The story says Black people will always forgive, always teach, always feed, always serve, always love. And that's why it's dangerous, because while we're busy being the nation's moral compass, the world keeps stealing from our table and calling it a meal. Dave Chappelle once explained that he walked away from the Chappelle Show after realizing that some white viewers and even people who worked on the show weren't laughing with him, they were laughing at him. That realization exposed the thin line between satire and stereotype, between using humor to reveal racism and using it to reinforce it. Southern Fried Rice stands on the wrong side of that litmus test. The pushback isn't just about bad TV, it's about narrative responsibility, the duty to know when a joke stops being critique and becomes complicity. When KeKe Palmer and Key TV position a non-Black lead inside a caricature of Blackness and call it representation, they repeat the same failure Dave Chappelle walked away from, mistaking exploitation for art. The laughter this show seeks isn't shared, it's directed downward, and it tells us exactly who the joke is on. The show operates as a post-racial fever dream, a glossy hallucination where centuries of racial complexity are flattened into cute culture swap moments and hashtag humor. It imagines a world where identity can be mixed and matched like ingredients in a recipe, where growing up Southern and Black adjacent erases the realities of lineage, history, and struggle. In its eagerness to appear inclusive, the show performs the ultimate erasure, pretending race no longer carries weight, consequence, or memory in the way that it actually does in the real world. By framing Blackness as basically a quirky lifestyle, Southern Fried Rice mocks the exact forces that made HBCUs necessary in the first place, which are the same forces that threaten their existence today. There's a group of Asian Americans in this country today who've spent the last decade dismantling higher education access for Black people under the guise of fairness. They've wrapped their campaign in the language of equality while pushing lawsuits and lobbying efforts that gutted affirmative action, policies created to address generations of exclusion from college. They claim they're fighting for meritocracy, but what they're really fighting for is proximity to whiteness and the comfort of being seen as deserving minorities. That's not solidarity, that's sabotage. And the irony is rich. At the same time, Southern Fried Rice imagines an Asian student embraced by an HBCU, real Asian activists are helping shut the doors at Harvard, at UNC, and countless other schools to the very Black students who built the moral and academic foundation for those institutions to even exist. The show reveals a staggering disconnect between the language of inclusion and the ethics of portrayal. In today's media landscape, where audiences are sharper, more informed, and unwilling to be patronized, this isn't bold or barrier breaking. It's a regression, a reminder that even Black owned platforms can produce the very caricatures they claim to dismantle when they mistake representation for performance. In the face of backlash, KeKe Palmer and her team doubled down with a response that was arrogant and dismissive. Rather than directly address the concerns, KeKe framed the issue as one of supporting Black creatives no matter what. In a statement, she praised the show's creator and noted how much Key TV has invested in her work, which is irrelevant to the discussion. She said, "Look, what you like is subjective, but the support of Black creatives is not. Whether you like it all or some or none, I say give these creatives a chance to grow." This sounds like a noble plea, but in reality, oh God, it's such a tired tactic. Jesus Christ. This is a rhetorical shield that reframes criticism as betrayal. It shifts the question from, is this show responsible or accurate, to, why won't you support Black artists? It effectively tells Black audiences that their nuanced concerns are invalid if they still proclaim the importance of Black voices. This is a classic gaslighting gambit. Turn a specific critique into a general principle, implying dissenters are against Blackness. Kiki's statement amounted to an insult to viewers' intelligence, telling Black folks we're just too closed minded and uncultured to understand why her show is important. It's the same playbook Tyler Perry uses when confronted with critiques of his tired, low budget, trauma fetishizing films. Dismiss the critics as elitist, out of touch, or too educated to understand real Black stories. Both Tyler and Kiki weaponize identity to deflect accountability. They talk to their audience like children who don't get it or have their priorities screwed up, when in fact, the audience gets it too well. The insult isn't that viewers are uncultured, it's that these creators think so little of them that they mistake discernment for disloyalty. In reality, Keke Palmer is out of touch with the social realities of Black people, Black families, and the Black experience. She has the privilege to sit back and imagine what if scenarios that detach Blackness from its lived reality. Southern Fried Rice is what happens when creative freedom meets cultural amnesia. Wouldn't it be funny if concept born from distance, not from depth, and for damn sure, not from artistic growth. KeKe can afford to treat race like a sandbox for experimentation because she no longer has to live with the consequences of those portrayals. For everyday Black people, students, parents, educators, adoptees, the ones actually living inside the systems and histories she turns into punchlines, these characters and storylines don't feel like creativity. They feel like someone turned us into puppets and is pulling strings to compromise our humanity and our reality.